All right. Hello there. Is everything working properly? It seems like it. Let me mute the stream on my end. Alrighty then. Everything should be in order. So, hello, Wooden Railway Edward. All right. Okay. So, this is hopefully going to be a bit of a new series sort of ordeal. So, I have college classes on Monday and Wednesday, and they're all online. So, and afterwards, I have basically made it my mission statement that no homework after classes. Like the time between classes and when I go to bed is my time. So I decided that in order to boost my YouTube channel and also because I want to, I am going to just do a short live stream between the end of class and me getting ready to go to bed. Which, I mean, is like 12 o'clock. I start getting ready to go to bed at midnight. So still a decently long stream, just long enough to be satisfying. So, with all that being said, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to play some Trainz. I recently did things with the content folders, so it's currently just all the built-in content. I still have all of the like third-party Thomas content. However, the brain brain not coming up with words. So yeah, the idea is just that I wanted to kind of fresh start my game. So I just wanted to fresh start Trainz. So I'm currently I have none of the Thomas content downloaded onto Trainz right now. It's just official since NV3 doesn't make their own content. They use community content. So all the official, I guess it's technically they have secondhand content. They don't like the software is their firsthand content. The models are secondhand content. But then like stuff like Sodor Workshops is third-party content. Or not. I said hand. I should say party. First party, second party, third party. I'm assuming that's how that works. So anyway, I'm just kind of going through running some of the built-in sessions in some of these some of these routes. Tonight I'm going to be going through some of the sessions on the Cornish main line and branches. So some good old GWR. Thoughts on the extended railway series? I love it. I haven't read through many of the books, but I love the concept. I love all the additional characters. Yeah, I love that sort of stuff. It's the only the extended railway series is the only reason I have a Sodor Island forums account. Otherwise, I would have never bothered. So, Yeah, now let me get my screen shared. How do I do this again? I'll figure this out. Ah, there it is. I just had my window, the window that StreamYard is on. I just had the bottom cut off, so I couldn't see it. Screen share. We're just gonna screen share Trainz. Not gonna. There we go. So you should all be able to see that. I guess I should keep StreamYard slightly visible, or at least the chat slightly visible. Let's see. Can I pop out the chat? Doesn't look like I can. Darn. That's the nice thing about Zoom, is that I can actually like pop out the chat into a separate tab. If anyone knows how to pop out the chat on StreamYard, that would be... Well, you know what? Maybe I can... Oh, yeah, I can pop out the chat on YouTube. Yeah, I can do that. I prefer doing it with a StreamYard just because it's more handy, but this works too. Oh, and here, let's see, because I assume I have not shared my computer audio. So here, I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment, and then I'm going to reshare. Yes, share audio. All right, now you guys got to let me know if you can hear my computer audio. I might just have to I might have to work on how this all works. Yeah. I'm only going to be using StreamYard for, maybe today and Wednesday. Because hopefully the idea is that we will have 2 streams a week, because I have classes 2 days a week. So yeah, right now it should just be some ambient background, like generic music, generic song. So if that's the case, then good. Hopefully, when I start pulling the Trainz up, let me know if you can't hear it. I'll assume no news is good news, but let me know if you can't hear the train sounds, because I don't know. Sometimes I feel it's weird watching a Trainz video and not hearing the sounds. So yeah. Before we get into that, I guess we'll start. No, yeah, we'll just keep this up for now. I am going to go and post the link for the stream on my social medias, so that way people know it's happening, because I did kind of start a bit early. I said I was going to start at 8:30, but then classes actually ended early, so I started early. it says 3 watching because I wonder. Okay, if I X out of watching YouTube, no. Okay, good. The chat still pops up. That is good. That is very good. That is good. That is. All right. So I got to. How do I do this again? There we go. Share. That's what I want to do. I actually bought with money some locomotives for Trainz. Trainz retain only to find out. The base game for 2019. Yeah, that does sound unfortunate. Yeah, I don't buy. I haven't bought much of the actual Trainz content. I have bought a few. So. But it was mostly like most of the stuff came in content bundles. I got like 2 different content bundles. And basically it's only the stuff that I would have gotten had I just gotten the platinum editions. So that was my thought process as to why I even got them in the first place. All right. Sorry, I'm just promoting the stream, setting up the links and stuff. All right. Specifically I sort of recognize those names. I'm not great with American locomotives. Like all the diesels look the same. Like there are like a few basic shapes. And most American diesel engines fall into one of those few categories. That's why I am a fan of British Steam. You won't find, well, you probably will, but there's a lot of diverse looking engines. Diverse yet similar all at the same time, which is what I like about it. It looks similar enough that you see similar design aspects, but not so similar as to have 2 different classes right next to each other and then look. Oh yeah, British diesels, they're not original. I'm not saying British diesels. I'm not praising British diesels. I'd take an American diesel over a British diesel 8 times out of 10. I mean, I'm nostalgically attached to British diesels, but American diesels are a lot cooler than British diesels in most cases. I'm talking just British steam engines are my preference. But yeah, but I guess that's not really a fair comparison now, is it? Let's see. Is there anything here? I'm going to copy the link. I'm just posting the link on Discord yet, and then we'll get right into this. Ah, we got the second wooden railway, Edward. All right. Just one more. I need to I need to come up with more creative versions of, hey, come and join the live stream. We're having a battle of the wooden railway, Edwards. All right, now just a time to clear out my notifications because they bug me, because I'm that sort of OCD person. There. I'm going to start Dork and Trainz in a few minutes, but, I had to do this thing called promoting the stream. I started the stream. Now that I had a link to give to people, I had to go and promote it. What, you think I'm trying to be professional and somehow manage to have my link before I start streaming? Because I think that's possible. People are trying to talk to me like I care. Anyway, so we are going to start Trainzing. A trip to Falmouth. Yes, or Falmouth. I don't know how to pronounce British names. So first, let me get all these things oriented so I can see both my game and the chat. Yeah, I was about to say, I do think there is a way to actually have my link before I actually start the stream, but I'm not sure. So, yes, being professional is for nerds. But no, it's not. I don't know. But yeah, we gonna start Trainz and I just gotta get my shelf all organized. Do it in realistic mode? No, sorry, I do not screw with realistic mode. I just don't. I don't have fun in realistic mode. I don't understand realistic mode. Part of that is because I haven't gone through the tutorial on it, and I don't actually understand how Steam engines work. Maybe if I actually did the tutorial on how to use realistic mode, I might actually understand it. But no, I'm not dealing with it because I don't care about it. That's loud. That's loud for me. Maybe I'll try it some other time, but I'm not doing that tonight. Here. I'm trying to make it that my speakers aren't so loud that that you end up with an echo. But just to make sure, you guys can hear this, right? Okay. All right. So you can hear. Okay. I'm not entirely sure how the sound mixing and everything would work. I'm not dealing with that tonight. However, in future, I'm only using StreamYard right now because I don't have OBS set up. Once I get OBS set up, I'll start using that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how to balance it. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. I mean, not quite, but I couldn't balance it in StreamYard the way I'd be able to balance it in what's it called? Oh, no wonder it's set to who the hell did that? There. Is that better? All right, green signal. Let me think. It's I don't want to do the tutorials though. They're boring. Yeah. I'm just gonna take my little passenger train up to Falmouth. Yes, it is Monday. I'm not like accidentally over. What are you doing? Okay. All right. So it is. So the volume is much better. That's good. Gosh, you guys just want me to break all the rules. You do know I'm running like an actual like programmed session. No, this is one of the built-in routes that comes with Trainz 2019. Specifically, this is the Cornish main line and branches. That's a lot of smoke. I prefer the fancy shots. I don't know why there are so many people that like driving from cab view. Like, you can't see anything. I guess those people are also using realistic mode. So, I guess, what do I know? No, I'm in a 35 now. I can speed up. This probably isn't a good idea. I'll probably, spend too much time looking at the chat, and then my train will die in a horrendous fashion. And it won't even, look cool, because Trainz 2019 doesn't have crash physics. Look, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I don't like it as far as driving from the cab. Mm-hmm. No, well, for one, that would be for rail works, not trains. So, yeah, this is just this is just one of the built-in routes that comes with Trainz 2019. So, simply by being made by a different company, it is not the same route. Well, I say not being made by a different company, but then we go back to that whole Trainz doesn't actually have any content of its own. It gets community members. I actually didn't know that until recently. I guess that makes sense. But then again, is multiplayer really worth it? From what I hear, it's not. I would, and then even then, it's not like they had realistic crash physics. Railworks has managed to get realistic crash physics, I think. Why can't Trainz get realistic crash physics? I'm not sure what they would have to do about people trolling in multiplayer. I don't know. Sometimes it's just a bunch of dudes having fun. Yeah. So yeah, how y'all doing tonight? I mean, I'm doing all right. I'm just coming out of college classes, so say what you will about that. Yeah, I feel like as far as dealing with that stuff in multiplayer, instead of making it that they can't cause a crash in multiplayer, just make it that those people can't get into multiplayer. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I've watched The Little Westerner. But this isn't that. Well, then look. Back in high school, I was horrible at doing my homework. So let me give you the advice that I would give high school me. Do your homework, for fuck's sake. Just do not get behind. Just don't do it. I'm going at a decent speed. I keep on not even paying attention to the how fast I'm going. Because this will go a lot quicker if I actually travel the speed limit. Which is weird because I'm usually thinking I'm going way too slow. All right. So we have to stop at a station. I think we have to stop this one coming up. Yeah, Perrinwell. We're stopping at Perrinwell. Wooden Railway Edward, stop encouraging Wooden Railway Edward. Now, Wooden Railway Edward. I will accept that. You know, my mom, she wouldn't accept that. You know, if I'm watching videos while doing homework, she thinks that I am not paying attention. But you know, I will not be the pot who calls the kettle black. You know, if you want to listen to the stream and do homework at the same time, that's fine by me. I think technically, I'm not sure if this is British rules or American rules, but it's supposed to have a bell on while going over bridges. I'm pretty sure that's American rules, but I'm not sure if that's British or as well. I should say this. I know it's American rules because I go to train clubs and we do operating sessions. So I know the bells and whistle rules. So, but I'm not sure if those same rules apply to British trains, but it's what I have to reference. So sometimes I listen to them. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a few operating sessions. I'm going to go through a few of the scenarios that Trainz has, and then I'm going to start making my own operating sessions. First in some of the pre-built routes, and then I shouldn't say pre-built routes, but the official routes, quote unquote. And then I'm going to be doing some operating sessions specifically in the Thomas the Tank Engine context. All right, let's see. Let's see if we can stop perfectly here. Because yeah, what I really like about having Trainz is just getting to basically have a model railway without having a model railway. Do you still have those customs in 9.8? They don't have their faces on them right now. And they're no longer 98462 and 87546 in a way. Like, they're still the same character, like personality wise, but I've kind of just gotten rid of the whole 98462 and 87546 concept. Now Eddie and Johnson, they still represent like the two engines that teased Edward. Like, they're still like the bigger engines that teased Edward. They're still in that group, but they no longer have the numbers 98462 and 87546. So although they are 98462 and 87546, they are not numbered 98462 and 87546, and they are never called that in any way. It is just that they represent characters that are supposed to fill that slot. But likewise, I'm also going to be introducing a few different interpretations of 98462 and 87546. Like, Alfred and Eddie are going to coexist. So, there's that. Because I know a lot of people associate Alfred with being 98462, and Eddie was my 98462, but now they're going to kind of be the same. They're not going to be the same. They're going to like both exist around the same time and talk to each other. So it's going to get a bit anachronistic. But when you live in a world, when you've created a world where Thomas is no longer the number one, you find yourself doing a lot of things you never thought you could do. So yes and no. But yeah, Eddie and Johnson, they're currently in the pile of customs that I am reworking. Because I'm giving all the Northwestern engines, I shouldn't say all the Northwestern engines. Not gonna lie. Well, so here's the thing. The reason my original 98462 was named Eddie is because he was made from an Edward model. I was just getting back into Thomas, okay? This was like my first custom job ever, and I was assigning a name to a character who'd never had a name before in my mind. Like, I had no idea that Alfred was 98462. So I was making up my own names. And yeah. Like, the only reason Johnson got the name that he got is because I was looking to have I was looking for the Red Engine's name to be alliterate with James's, and then I wanted the two Red Engines. I wanted their names to alliterate, and then that other Red Engine, he was Johnson's brother, so I wanted them to alliterate. Kind of the whole, with Donald, Douglas, Bill, Ben. I was dumb. But since I've changed up a few engine names, but Eddie and Johnson have remained simply because I like them. I like Eddie and Johnson. Sure. It might feel weird to have an Eddie and an Edward, but there are also two Berts and two Olivers, so really, that's nothing. But yeah, so Eddie and Johnson are currently in the pile of locomotives that are going to get new paint jobs. Are you aware of Thomas the SD38? No, I am not, apparently. But yeah, I'm giving a lot of the Northwestern engines custom paint jobs. Thomas, Edward, and Gordon are all getting a much deeper blue. And now that Eddie and Johnson will actually like be staying on the railway, like it was going to be that, you know, they were going to follow the origins of 98462 and 87546, and they would be sent away. But I completely scrapped that. So now that they're staying on the railway, they actually have to have colors that match. So originally, I intentionally made it that Eddie and Johnson did not match Thomas, Edward, and Gordon's shade of blue, because the idea was that they weren't Northwestern. They were just on loan. But now that they are Northwestern, they all need to match. So yeah. So currently they're in the redo pile. But yeah, the Sudrian project is it's coming along. So we'll see how that goes. I've honestly just I've gotten tired of staring at those spreadsheets, so I'm gonna be doing a little bit of Trainz, and at least with Trainz, I can get operating sessions set up that I can do more than just what I've been doing at the model railway clubs. Are you going to Shining Time? If they have Shining Time this year, definitely, and that's not pretty at all. Yeah, if Shining Time happens this year, or the model railway or not the model railway show, the Magic Railway show, or whatever we're calling it now, if it happens, I'm definitely going. COVID be damned. As much as I am like a pro mask, like, you know, treating this thing seriously, I'm also kind of a, what are you doing? Just have what? It just crashed on me. God damn. I guess we're gonna try that again. Of course it would do this while streaming, you know, because it knows. Trainz knows the camera's on, therefore it will crash. Oof indeed. Oof indeed. All right. Share audio. Do-do-do. All right. Y'all should be able to see that now. Yep. Yeppery. All right, let's try this again. A Trip to Falmouth, Take 2. But yeah, if Shining Time happens, I am going. Now, so far, I think did Turtles announce that Shining Times, that they're planning on it? Like, I don't think there's been any, like, yeah, there was an official announcement about that. Yeah. You know, I know things are in planning, but you know, we don't know what COVID will bring. So, you know what? This time I'll actually read the little thing. Welcome to Choro. Ooh. Today is just a simple runs to the maritime line. Today is just a simple run to the maritime line to Falmouth docks, while stopping at all stations on the route. The main line is a bit busy, so we may get a slight delay when departing. The section from Plymouth to Truro opened on... oh, never mind then. Can I open that back up? Oh, yeah, there we go. I can read this until the signal comes down. The section from Plymouth to Truro opened on May 4th, 1859, and the inhabitants of Falmouth soon put pressure on the company to extend the line to their town as originally intended. The extension opened on August 24th, 1863, by which time the packet ships had been diverted elsewhere. The line still operates today. Yeah, I'm not surprised. There are some pretty long routes on Trainz. I think the longest that I have is one of the East Coast mainline routes. And yes, I definitely do think they decided the location, because I'm pretty sure it's the same location as was intended for last year at I call it Juniata College, but it might be pronounced Uniata? Maybe? I don't know. But yeah, I think it's the same location as as was intended for last year. And if not there, it may be the location that we've seen in the two streams before. I don't know. I'm no authority on that, obviously. But that's my guess. I'm pretty certain it's gonna be. I don't know. I can't say. I know last year it was going to be at Juniata College, but who's to say where it's going to happen this year? But yeah. But we don't have a date yet. We don't have a date for Shining Time. Seeing blue engines on the Great Western Railway, that's different. Like, I know there are blue engines, I mean, obviously, but it's still not something that you realize often. that there were blue engines on the Great Western. All right. And here we go. But yeah, I really like doing operating sessions, and I'm hoping to do a lot more of them. A big part of the Sudrian project is to have a railway that can be operated on while still being wooden railway. That's a really big part of all that. And Trainz is kind of acting as a way to kind of skip to the later stages temporarily. Imagine a red GWR engine. James would he'd just die. He wouldn't be able to handle it. Now, but is that the Great Western Railway or the Great Western Railroad? Important distinction there. I love how YouTube deemed it necessary to email me about the fact that I was live. Like, what? Yeah, I think I did think I'd seen something about that. That's actually interesting. The Great Western Railway isn't, or not the Great Western, the Great Northern Railway isn't a unique of a name as some of us would hope. Gosh, my lag. I guess I should be grateful that it doesn't happen like all the time. Thoughts on Dax right now? Well, it's a complicated issue. For one, I was not. I wasn't on Twitter long enough to see what even happened. But I mean, so I don't even know what he said in the first place. But at the same time, I've talked with him, and I know that he doesn't mean any malice. Typically, I can't talk on this situation, but I don't think he's trying to cause trouble. I just think he lacks judgment. He lacks good judgment. In some cases. So. Oh. Really? That's all? That's what really. People blew up at him for. Oh, we gotta. We gotta. You people need to see my face for this. People blew up at him because he said the white face was more valuable than the cool props Thomas. I mean, for one instance, I agree with him. Like, it's in a way, like, it's definitely more rare. The cool props Thomas is just a replica of the prop, and it's mass produced. Yeah. Again, it's just an opinion. It's an opinion. Yeah. The reason the white-faced troublesome truck is valuable is because it's rare. Cool props Thomas isn't rare. Anybody can get it. Anybody who has the cash can get it. It's not hard to get a hold of. It's expensive, but it's not rare. Yeah. Past times when Dax has stirred up a fuss, like, I saw where the other people were coming from. I saw the both sides. Like, I saw where he was kind of just, being dumb and not thinking about it while not having any malice. But I could also see on this side where it's like people were very concerned about what he was saying / doing. For instance, I mean, I think the whole desk fire thing was cool. Unsafe, yes. Cool, also yes. But just that, because that just makes no sense. Yeah, because I don't understand it. I get what. I wonder if it's just people are mad that he has such a big collection and are just now finding reasons to shit on him. Because, his collection is kind of massively obese. And yes, obese was the word I chose for that. It's a bit bigger than it needs to be. I say that in a caring manner. I say that as a friend of Dax, who I can poke at him and make fun of him about it, but there's no malice meant. It's just it's just for fun. It's nothing personal. But I almost wonder if there are people that are just like, oh, this person thinks he's like so entitled or something. I don't know. Yeah. I've never gotten the thought that he's a spoiled brat. I've gotten the feeling that he is obsessive. But we all have our obsessions. Like, I probably wouldn't be in a dissimilar situation if I had the funds, as far as what I wanted to collect. That being said, I probably wouldn't get 20 of the same character, but I'd still probably have a massive collection if I had the funds for it. and that's from whatever source, yeah, I mean, I can see that, where spoiled but grateful. Yeah, when I say someone's spoiled, I don't necessarily just mean that they're spoiled. Uh I just kind of mean that they are well, kind of the spoiled brat personality. That's kind of what I mean when I say someone's spoiled. Because I don't want to call nice people spoiled. They're nice. Calling someone spoiled has a bad annotation to it. So I kind of feel it's insulting to call someone spoiled. Like my youngest brother, he is definitely spoiled. And I mean that. He is a spoiled brat. Um, he inherited two older brothers worth of discarded toys, and then still got, a child's worth of toys. Plus, since, our parents were finally in an economic uh in a place economically that they could, buy nice things for him. I mean, crap, that kid's owned 4 ponies in his 7 years of life. Now, 2 of those ponies passed. So, you know, owning 4 ponies doesn't sound that bad at that point, but still, add that on top of all of the cars and tractors and other toys that he's got. He has his own Transformer collection separate from mine. Well, we say that, but we all know it's just as much my Transformer collection. Everyone knows how the Transformers work in this household. But I mean, yeah, but the point being, I think it's ridiculous that Dax got jumped on the way that he supposedly did. That being said, I haven't spent much time on Twitter these past few days. And by the time that I saw anything had happened, I was in class, and I was basically just telling people like, hey, I am going to have a stream. So now let's get back to it. So let's see. What is there that we can really talk about? Because there's really not much to talk about when it comes to Trainz here. Or maybe there is. I can talk about some of my future plans for this little series here. So the idea is I kind of said this, what you eat for breakfast. Whatever I can find. Honestly, we don't have much in the fridge sometimes. Not in a we're poor sort of way, just in that it's in the we have so much stuff, but nothing that I could easily whip up and pair. There's also the fact that I don't know how to cook, so that's a factor. Unless it's in the microwave, it's good chances are I can't make it. That's not totally true. I can sometimes use the oven. Every now and then I can make scrambled eggs. But yeah, like the last 2 days, it's been ramen noodles. That was my breakfast. Though it was also my lunch at the same time, because horses get breakfast before I do. That's how it works around here. Horses, I have to be out feeding at 9 o'clock in the morning, regardless of when I wake up. So, and given that I have a penchant for waking up after 9, yeah, I often. All right. Well, we'll see you, Wooden Railway, Edward. Thanks for joining in. Hope we see you a bit more later. All right. I'm gonna pull it up just perfectly. The idea being that although we're not filling up on water, that we park so that we could fill up on water if we were. Yeah. So plans for the series is that just that like another stream every Monday, every Wednesday. So we'll actually be getting out 2 streams a week, which actually feels pretty impressive. So, and of course there will be days that doesn't happen. But okay, I'm allowed to go. Now tonight we're dorking around on the Cornish main line. You know, we're gonna be going around a few different routes, and it's not just gonna be British or American stuff. You know, we're gonna do some Australian routes, some German routes, some Russian routes. I even have a Japanese route. I don't think I have anything in India. I do have one in Italy. And then I have one in Canada. So yeah, we're gonna be going all over. Just the other night, I did the sessions for the Canadian route. Canadian Rocky Mountains route. Yeah, that one was interesting. Like it's mainly just, you know, stretches of track, which really isn't interesting for me. But it has like this massive yard where like 3 different lines intersect, or really where one subdivision meets up with another. And it's a massive yard, but you know, you have just all this track mileage, and that's supposed to be the majority of the route. And that's kind of lame, you know? There aren't even really many industries along the line. There are like 2 industries and then 1 abandoned industry. So yeah. I mean, I guess that's cool for people that just like to, you know, watch the trains go. But I like to do actual operations. Like this is, even running these passenger trains isn't really all that interesting for me. I'm cool with this just because it's British steam trains. It's my literal favorite, so I can deal with the lacking in fun operations. But you know, I like doing like local freights, where it's like, you know, you set out from your 1 yard and you drop off and pick up cars at multiple stations along the way. You know, anything that has a nice balance of running and switching. I don't like just switching. Like just, I shouldn't say that. I do like good old yard operations, but I prefer something a bit more mixed. But you know, I don't like just, you know, taking train from point A to point B. That's too boring for me. Go in the cab for the tunnel. It's acceptable by my. I assume this looks nice. No, I don't know what inside of one of these engines is supposed to look like, so I have to slow down. But yeah, so while the future will contain a lot of just playing, you know, the operating sessions that the game already comes with, after that is when the real interesting things are going to start. Is I am going to start making my own op sessions, but not in like the, you know, like the programming a session where it like gives you all the instructions and stuff. The idea is that I am going to set up. I'm just gonna like go into a route, set up all the engines and all the rolling stock, and then set up a switch list generator. So I'll get my waybills and my switch lists, and I'll go in and move all the cars, and there won't be any like objective stuff. It's just going to be, you know, me playing, you know, your base game of Trainz, just kind of freelancing it, but creating my own rules for it, if that makes any sense. And the idea is that it will just be one operating session, and you know, I'll generate my switch lists for that day, and then I'll go through, I'll complete all the switch lists, and then I'll save the session, and then I can come back in and then generate a new switch list based on the last known location based on what I accomplished the day before, and I'll have a whole new set of switch lists, and it will never be the same. Well, I shouldn't say it'll never be the same. That's kind of, there will be a lot of similarities, but you know, there might be one or two operating sessions that turn out being exactly the same. But it's going to be designed that more often than not, they are different. But yeah. Yes, I actually I just started watching some of his old live streams. Actually, you know, I was already kind of reinvigorated into doing some Trainz stuff, and then I saw some of his videos and was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just make some videos. So he's actually part of my inspiration for this approach medium. I haven't caught any of his videos live yet. I've just watched some of his operating videos on the PNB. So I do want to go back and catch some of his route building videos, though. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not much of a route builder. I'm more geared towards taking routes and merging them together in order to form a larger route. I'm route Frankenstein. I Frankenstein routes together. I don't build routes from scratch. I might do some route building in the future. It could be fun. Actually, I have a. I just ordered a 3D printer recently, so I'm probably gonna end up starting making some 3D models for printing. I might honestly make some 3D models for Trainz, especially since so many people hate it when you modify their Trainz models, even when you don't redistribute them. Like, for instance, I have my own numbering scheme for the engines. But if I renumber Wild Nor'Wester, if I reskin Wild Nor'Wester's Gordon to have my numbering on it, well, I shouldn't say my numbering because I got it from Railway Mania and his Sudrian histories. I didn't actually get a flag. I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't get a green flag. There we go. But if I would reskin another guy's Gordon to have 704 on it instead of 4, they get mad at that. Even if I never release him. And I understand it when people get mad about reskinning models. And then redistribute and then releasing them. I completely understand that. But when you reskin a model for your own personal enjoyment and keep it to yourself, I don't get why creators get mad at that. You spin me right around, baby, right around, like a record, baby, right around, right around. Are you dizzy yet? So, 5629. That's his number. Come on. Really, people? It amazes me how many bugs you have on the routes that Trainz is like, this is going to come with the game. I swear. Trainz has 0 standards. have incredibly low standards. Can I go faster without speeding? If I put it up a notch, well, okay. Now if it just stays there, I'm fine. But I feel like maybe I've just been dumb all this time, but like before, I could like take this up, I could take an engine up to 29 miles per hour in a 25, and the game wouldn't think I'm speeding, but now it does. So I don't get what that's about, but whatever. Let me see how many. Okay, 3 of 5. So, all right, we have one more station before. Trainz has a blue whale asset on the download station, but there's not a single Dunkin' Donuts. Like, that. I don't know what blue whale is. I don't recognize. Unless you literally mean like a blue whale, like a literal whale. You know, but if you're talking about some like store or something, I'm not sure. But still, it amazes me that they don't have an asset for some of the most iconic locales in the world. Like Dunkin' Donuts, that's not an American thing. Okay, so you were talking about the animal. Okay. Because I wouldn't have been surprised if there was some company or like some store or a restaurant or something that was called Blue Whale. So I just wanted to like be sure on that. But yeah, even that seems ridiculous. Who's going to model their ocean so in depth as to need a blue whale asset? But, you know, anyone who's modeling, you know, modern day anything needs a Dunkin' Donuts asset. They're absolutely everywhere. Well, maybe not everywhere, but they're at least everywhere in first world countries. I can't speak for second world or third world countries because I have never lived in one, nor have I ever visited one. All right, this should be our last station stop before terminating in Falmouth. Boom. Perfect. I think. But yeah. As far as routes that I am planning for setting up my own operations on, I want to start with the non-Thomasy stuff before I go into the Thomasy stuff. Like eventually I will be setting up operations on a Sodor route. Yeah, I hear you. There's a stink bug flying around my room, and I do not like it. I hate stink bugs. Not meant to be here. They're an invasive species. And they are crawling around my room. But yeah, I think one of the first routes I'm going to start doing building operating sessions on is the Kickstarter County route. Simply because, for one, it's a complete unit. There's no like tracks going off into the distance that are supposed to represent locations far off. It's a nice little American short line, and it's kind of it's kind of designed for beginners. It has a nice, clear classification yard that's set up very well. Lots of industries that work in tandem with each other. So that'll all be pretty nice. And, I'll actually be using a lot of American diesel locomotives. I know, look at me, the hypocrite. First I say I don't like American diesels. Now I'm saying that one of the first operating sessions I'm going to start is using American diesel locomotives. I don't dislike American diesel locomotives. They're not my favorite. British steam is. But American diesels have their place too. They have their seat amongst the pantheon of locomotives. So yeah, I'm probably going to use that route as my my base board, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, I'm going to try and dabble in just about every route that I have. With the qualifier that like doesn't have like too many bugs that are like horrendous. Do you know about the Camelback type of locomotives? I'm not sure. I don't know locomotives very well. Even British steam locomotives, I'm not the best at knowing, the class names and stuff. Of course, some of them are obvious. Like, I know an E2 when I see one. I know a A1 Pacific. I recognize a Great Western Pannier tank. Just about if it's one of Audrey's 11 locomotives with the cabs in the middle. Okay. Kinda. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't recognize a class name, but I do know that those locomotives exist. So all right, ladies and gents, we're almost at the finish line. But yeah, I'm mostly just going to be using what I have. The idea is just to use what Trainz gives me for now. So, like, you know, Trainz has already given some routes that are, like, pretty screwy. I probably won't use those for operating sessions if it's too obvious. So now, is it going to tell me that I'm done, or does it want me to go to the water tower? Oh, I'm done. Okay. 4 stars. I guess I was speeding just enough. Just often enough that, yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see. It's only 8:45. Before we start our next one, which I think will be the Helston passenger run, I'm kind of making a note of doing all the easy ones first. Just not because I can't do the normal and difficult ones. It's just that I'm OCD, so I'm doing that. I'm doing it in that order. So, you know, we're going to do the Helston passenger run, and assuming that we have no difficulties, that should take us to 9:45. And then the St. Ives passenger run, and again, assuming no difficulties, that should take us to 9:55. We'll just say that'll take us to 10 o'clock, just because there's going to be time in between. And then we'll do some all right. But yeah, so the idea is to we should be able to get 3 more ops in tonight, at the very least. And we'll cap it off with one of my favorite, work in St. Earth. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Earth, eighth, Earth, eighth, Earth. It feels weird to pronounce it just as Earth, but that's the only way you would pronounce it. But first, we're going to do a Helston passenger run, and then the St. Ives passenger run. But before that happens, I'm going to run downstairs to the fridge and get myself another Sprite Zero. So that should only take like 2 minutes. But yeah, I'll be back. All right. I've got my Sprite. Now, let's do this. Helston passenger run. Your job today is to take the morning passenger service from Helston to Gwinear Road, where the mainline passenger services, or the mainline passenger service trains will take the passengers to their destinations. Enjoy the scenery the line has to offer. All right. Here we go. My voice kind of cracked there. Doesn't typically do that. I kind of already went through that stage. I can't be doing that again. Yeah, I hope to get OBS set up to do these streams in future, so that way I can have my face cam up and the screen at the same time. So, all right, welcome to Helston. This morning, you are in charge of taking the local train from Helston to Gwinnett Road, where the passengers will be able to transfer to the main line trains. History facts of the line. The Helston branch was an 8.5 mile, 13.7 kilometer long, 4 foot 8.5 inch standard gauge railway branch line, and is the southmost branch line in the United Kingdom. The line opened in 1887 and was absorbed into the Great Western Railway in 1898, continuing in existence as the Helston branch. The line is no longer there. Passenger trains on the line closed on November 3rd, 1962. Goods trains had an additional 2 years before the line ceased on October 4th, 1964. The tracks were lifted by mid-1965. Well, that's unfortunate. At the moment, your train isn't ready, so the local shunter is getting the coaches for you. You can watch the action while you wait. Why, hello. Oh, not Duck. For a moment, I thought you were Duck. You are not a duck. You are but the duckling. I don't think that's actually accurate, but, you know, whatever. Ooh. These coaches are different, I think. I think they're different from the ones that we used on the Falmouth run. Then again, I could have just, you know, not been paying attention. So, let's see. Let's see. But yeah, I can't wait until I get into some of the later operating sessions, because I know some of the routes that the guy who makes the sessions for that, he doesn't do any of this like objective stuff. He literally just gives you a switch list in his ops, so they'll be fun. And you know, I do like the stuff that has the objective symbols and all that. But these ops tend to be made by NV3. The route isn't, but I know there are plenty of routes that have sessions made by NV3 to fill out the list of sessions, and they're typically unrealistic. So, all right, not Duck. Get out of the way so I can get on with my train. Sounding like a proper Gordon type here. Get out of the way so I can go and take my very important passenger train. That's not. Guess who's back? Back again. Edward's back. Tell a friend. That is my very complicated way of saying welcome back to the stream, Wooden Railway Edward. We're doing a new session now. We completed our trip to Falmouth. Now we are in. We're doing a separate session. We're in Helston. The last session, like we were in Truro. So we ran from the main line up to the end of the branch line. Eddie, okay, Eddie then. Guess who's back? Back again. Eddie's back. Tell a friend. It actually works better. But anyway, so yeah, we were running from the Cornish main line up to the end of one of its branch lines. Maybe it was down to the end of its branch. I don't know the cardinal directions. I wasn't paying attention. But now we're at the branch line station, and we're at the branch line terminus, and we're gonna run down to the junction or up to the junction. Again, I'm not sure of the actual coordinates. We're gonna check that quick. Yes. That is not wrong. Though, honestly, the reason commuter trains like this went the way of the past wasn't because of the invention of the automobile. It was because people thought the invention of the automobile was gonna get rid of the steam. Or not get rid of steam, but get rid of commuter services. So they tore up the branch lines prematurely. And everyone started complaining. Honestly, if they just kept the branch lines in place, they probably would have never had a problem. But it was because, everyone thought that, with the invention of the automobile, people would just drive to the station and then take the train to a further station. But instead, people were just like, well, I might as well just drive my car the whole way. That's how commuter services died. At least over in Britain. I haven't focused too much on American history. I could totally see where I could totally see it being different over here. Too bad the USA wasn't the same story. Yeah. No, people like the trains over in Britain. People really enjoyed their engines. So far as I can tell. I mean, I'm no historian. Didn't America get cars faster though? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it's also just a different culture here in America. Over, one thing that I think a lot of people forget is that it actually is a very different culture. Despite the fact that, Britain is probably the least foreign country as far as from an American perspective. England and Canada. Yeah. I guess America was also trying to avoid nationalization at all costs. Britain had kind of already hopped into that boat, which I'm not going to give an opinion on whether nationalization was a good thing or a bad thing. I'm no political. I'm no economist, whatever. I know the current privatization system does not work. Again, over in Britain. Just from what I understand of it, which is very little. Yeah, I guess that's true. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be able to tell if I wasn't sure if it would be considered a monopoly if it was government run. But I guess I don't even know if BR was government run. It might have just been. It was one national network. I always hear nationalized and think that meant it was government run, but that might not actually be the case. Proof that I don't know everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Though I feel like America could have benefited from a big four type system. Like, hey, let's narrow down all of our railroads down to a few a select few big companies, so that we don't have 20 companies running around, but at the same time we still have competition. Because competition is good for the economy. Again, from what I know, I'm always open to other ideas. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I get all my information from this one site, and any information that doesn't agree with the information that I want to agree with is fake news. And there are people on both sides that do that. It's been scientifically proven that one side does it more than the other. And I will stop right there. However, both sides do it. And both sides also see the extreme of each side and consider everyone on that group to be an extremist. And I'm going too fast. Okay, so we do only have a few companies. Okay. See, I don't know too much about the American railroad system. Yeah, only having 7 companies, that's smart. And I think in terms of big four just because of BR, but America is also how many times bigger than England. So So 7 companies probably makes more sense, considering. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I do hope to get a little bit more knowledgeable on how the American system of railroads worked. You know, the British system is my main, but that's simply because Sodor is intrinsically tied to it. It is kind of a component of it. So I kind of have to understand it in order to figure out how Sodor works. Because I'm probably more tied to the real world than Audrey. Than Audrey was sometimes. Because like if there are some places where Audrey's stuff just kind of breaks the real world. And I find myself throwing out some of Audrey's ideas and changing them in order to fit within the context of the real world. So yeah. Like, for instance, Vickerstown in my series might just be spelled with a K instead of a C. I was thinking about that, getting other people on the stream. I'm not too sure if I just want to invite people from the chat, because although I like the idea of it, I'm not incredibly comfortable with it. I tried doing that, but as much as I like the idea of it, I'm not totally. I'm kind of out of my comfort zone. But you know what? I have friends. What are they up to? Yeah, I figured, but I figured that I would also comment on. Let me see. Here, we're gonna pause. Wow, that 1,000 crashes in a month, and I thought Sodor's crash record was bad. Sorry for the silence here, guys. I'm just texting here. All right. So we'll see. We might get some. We might get someone else on here. Possibly. Or maybe not. I don't know. Damn. Yeah, that sounds like a very shitty situation. Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone will come on tonight. At least not for the whole time. Because I figure I have, after this, I have 2 other sessions, operating sessions on this route that I want to do yet. So I might, we can probably fit those in because they're like 20, 30 minutes each. So we'll see. We'll probably just, we'll finish those 2 and then wrap it up, regardless of where we are time-wise. But yeah, who knows? I might try and alternate things. Like, you know, today I'm doing, you know, the pre-built session. Maybe Mondays we'll do the pre-program sessions, and then Wednesdays. Yeah, I think Wednesday we'll actually start building a session. I'll go around the Kickstarter county route and start placing down rolling stock for building the session. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Though I don't know whether I'll do the Kickstarter county route that came with Tane or the one that comes with TS19. Maybe TS19 because it's just Tane with slightly more. Yeah, we might just go straight to Kickstarter county too. As far as stuff relating to the Sudrian project, I guess I feel like what is there to say about the Sudrian project? Progress is coming along. It's a lot of spreadsheets. Just trying to place engines in the right time period. I'm also trying to figure out who should be the main cast, sorta. So my idea, as far as why, hello, other wooden railway, Edward. Welcome back. We're taking a new train. We delivered our train from Truro to Falmouth, and now we're taking a train from Helston to Gwenier Road. Is that what it's called? Gwenier Road. Yeah. As far as Sundrian, and the main cast. So the idea is that the main cast are basically the characters that I'm not going to try and do what later seasons of the TV series did, and like try and make the Steam team like a thing within the universe. The idea is that these are just the characters that stories tend to gravitate towards. And I'm trying to make them all fit within a category, if that makes sense. Like right now, I think the main cast will consist of at least Thomas, Edward, Henry, Gordon, James, Percy, Toby, Duck, Donald, and Douglas. I'm not sure if it will actually involve Oliver or not. It will probably involve Emily, Murdoch, what were the other ones? Yes, Spencer, and Big City Engine, or as he will be known, Isle of Man. That will be his real name. And on that account, Spencer's real name will actually be Silverlink. Isle of Man will have like a more ordinary name to be referred to by. I'm just not sure what that'll be yet. But yeah, Spencer's going to be a Northwestern Engine, so he's actually going to like be a main character. But yeah, that's my big qualifier for being a main character, is being a Northwestern Engine. Have you ever been to England? And if not, would you ever like to go? I have not been to England. I have never been outside the country. I have not left America. I would like to visit England at some point. Probably, visit places like the National Railway Museum, the Bluebell Railway, Tally-Flynn Railway. Probably borrow Inverness, just because that's the closest one can get to visiting Sodor. But yeah. Maybe also the Dean Forest Railway. Another one. The Dean Forest Railway kind of gets lost as far as railways that have been involved with the railway series. that one kind of slips under the radar. Everyone focuses on the Bluebell Railway. It's probably the only reason the Bluebell Railway is still like popular nowadays, because I feel like it slips under the radar for a lot of other people. Just because it's so intertwined with Thomas and Audrey. But yeah, we've just made our last. I think we've made our last passenger stop before terminating at the junction. So yeah. And then we are going to hit another passenger train on another branch line. And then, based on my knowledge of this route, I'm pretty sure the shunting op that we'll do to cap it off. I'm pretty sure that takes place on the same branch at the junction. Yeah, same here. That the only heritage line I've really been to is Strasbourg. Just all the commuter trains. Yeah, that's kind of more the consequence that, you know, all the commuter trains are the easy modes. And it's not that I can't do the higher difficulties. It's not that I have problems with those. It's just that I'm OCD and I'm doing them in order. I should start whistling at these crossings. I'm kind of breaking a lot of rules here. I'd be fired. So let's see. I have my little paper of signaling things. Well, this is more for this is more American rules, but I think it still applies. This might actually be universal, or at least slightly universal. The main problem is I don't think this engine has a difference between a long sound and a long blast and a short blast. We'll test it. Yeah, I don't have to hold it in, so it gives off a long blast, whether I want it to or not. Now we're reaching the station soon, anyhow. Yep. Yeah, I have it written down here because the one model railway club that I go to, they do operating sessions, and the one of them has us do the sounds. So yeah, that's the closest I can get with this engine. Museums and maybe. I don't know. When I think of a heritage railway, I think of, engines that are running. Yeah, I made that one work properly. Oh, I guess I never sounded the bell though. Whatever. I did the whistles. If people didn't get the point there, then I don't think that's my issue. Neat. I read the chat and was not paying attention. And now I sped. Yeah, I'm not sure how many active locomotives Strasbourg has. 2 or 3, maybe, right? I mean, that sounds right. All right. I will say, out of all the passenger services, commuter services are probably my favorite. They're just a lot more involved than, taking a mainline express train. Oh, 5-star. Okay, now yeah. No more mainline steam. All right. So now we're going to do the St. Ives computer, not computer. I mean, yes, it's on the computer, but commuter. Oh, commuter passenger run. And then we will do work in St. Earth, which is a shunter thing. Yeah, I guess there are mainline Steam for special rail tours and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so we'll do St. Ives passenger run, then we'll do work in St. Earth. This is yeah, that's a normal difficulty. Yeah, and they'll be 20 minutes each. And then maybe we'll take a preview at Kickstarter County to see what we'll be looking at for operating sessions for any who are not familiar with that route. For my for me, I'll probably just refer to it as the Highland Valley short line. But yeah. Oh, why hello, Lemmy. Welcome to the stream. Yes, I am transing it up, Lemmy. Yeah, I wish I had thought of messaging you earlier. I just got your Skype messages. But yeah, maybe next time. Welcome to St. Earth. The mainline passenger train has arrived and made a quick stop for passengers to transfer to the St. Ives passenger train. Once the guard gives us the departure signal, we may start heading to St. Ives. Enjoy the scenery on this fine ride. St. Ives railway station is linked to the Paddington and Penzance main railroad. Ooh, it gave me. We'll quick pause so I can read this. St. Ives railway station is linked to the Paddington to Penzance main line route via the St. Ives branch line, which runs frequent services from St. Earth station. The line was opened in 1877 by the St. Ives Branch Railway, but became part of the Great Western Railway in 1878. The line still operates today. Hold up. I just got like a burst of messages here. So. All right. Yeah. Next time I'll have to message people beforehand. But given that everything kind of happened all at once, that didn't happen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they just like all came at once, like if my phone just decided to wait to tell me about them or what. But yeah, they just all came at the same time. I shouldn't say that. They came in like 2 bursts. Oh, YouTube does not do what? Am I supposed to fill in the blanks? Suddenly, everything happened at once. Yeah, I guess YouTube doesn't do that. Oh, the fault of it. Okay. All right. Now I'm figuring out what you're getting at. Part of it probably didn't help that I don't know how to do italics on Skype. So all right, you go make that spaghetti, Lemmy. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. Definitely. Prepare for station stop already. I guess this branch line does have a lot of low speed limits. Gosh, Trainz is anal about its speed limits. Ain't it? No, I have not. I have not tried building my own route before. One thing I have done is tried merging some routes together and then connecting them. And I never really got far because my computer just couldn't handle it. My computer could not handle me taking a Croven's Gate route and adding it onto the SI3D route. It couldn't handle that. And then any scenery I tried to put in between those two routes was completely horrible. That and, you know, the people don't pay attention to cardinal directions when they're building a Thomas route. So I never got a green flag. Yeah, I think one of my biggest pet peeves about a lot of Thomas routes is that no one pays attention to cardinal directions when building stuff that is on the Railway Series map. It's all different directions, and then you have to do weird things to get them to connect. And that bugs me. That hurts me in my soul. Yeah. I think currently my favorite Sodor route is Curtis's hybrid iOS. It's so damn cool. Oh, cool. Yeah, I always like freelance railroads. What do I think of the Sam Wilkinson map? Oh, it's a mess. It is a mess. And it doesn't work. It's not realistic. Callan belongs on the Great Western branch line, or not the Great Western, the Little Western, for one thing. Now there are some elements I like the steelwork, or not the steelworks, the ironworks smelting yard being at Kildane. I like that. I probably won't put it there simply because there are other things going on there and I have other locations I want to industrialize. But like, it makes sense. There are some things that just do make sense. But there are just a lot of lines that just I can't get with. Like all the branches coming off of basically any branch line that's coming off of the Pale Godred branch line is just completely disgusting. All the extensions to the Kirk Ronan branch line. Why? Yeah, I use it as inspiration. I do not use it as a be all end all. I use it like fan fiction because that's what it is to me. It's fan fiction. I am more likely to use Unlucky Tug's map than Sam Wilkinson's. At least Unlucky Tug found a found a way to integrate the loop line that wasn't completely bonkers. Honestly, I think Sodor is just up to your interpretation. Set in stone. I agree with that to some extent. I keep a lot of Audrey's stuff set in stone, but everything else I think is fair game. But like I think, as far as Tidmouth being the westmost mainline station, Knapford being just south of it, and then you have Crosby, Wellsworth, Marin, Cronk, Kildane, Kelsthorpe Road, Crovinsgate, Vickerstown, Barrow, and Furness. Like I feel that's very important to me, at least. I get to some people that that's not important at all, and that's totally fine. But I enjoy having Audrey's stuff how it was, and then I extend upon that. I add to it, but in a way that is tasteful. Like Ulfstead Castle, I would not create a whole new branch line to reach Ulfstead. I'd do what a lot of other people do and extend Thomas's branch line. And then I'd just forgo the whole Connor and Caitlin going up at the branch to get to the castle. Or, maybe I just have the whole branch, maybe I just ignore the whole, mainline engines can't go on branch lines thing and just have it be my headcanon that all the branch lines were built to withstand mainline engines. I mean, Gordon goes up to the lead mines to pull Thomas out, and he manages to get down to Brendam okay. No what? I feel like it has something to do with Connor and Caitlin. Well, normally, I'd agree. Yes, Connor and Caitlin can't go on the Farquhar branch. However, if modifications were made to the branch, then maybe they could. But I don't think I'd do that. It just feels wrong. The Farquhar branch feels too branch liney to have a mainline engine on it. What I might do is the stretch between, I might kind of do an unlucky tug and make the stretch between Knapford and Ellsbridge that it's the loop, it's part of the loop line, and thus Gordon could go on that, and that's how Gordon can get to Torrey-Rick to pull Thomas out. But yeah, for the most part, I do feel Thomas's branch line is too branchy to have mainline trains on it. But you know, this is just me spitballing ideas here. You know, I've had, you know, some major extensions ideas for the branch. Yeah, so far as Connor and Caitlin, I think they're owned by the Earl in my mind. Maybe like they're part of his little railway museum. But I might change that. I might actually make them Northwestern engines. Like, because they're not going to be able to get up to Ulfstead Castle unless I make it that the castle that Sir Robert Norramby restores and makes a whole thing at isn't Norramby. Like, what if instead of the Earl's estate being at, or I said Norramby, I meant Ulfstead. What if instead of the Earl's estate being at Ulfstead, what if it's at Sudbury? You know, there's a castle down there. You know, and I can imagine mainline trains going down the Brendan branch. So, you know, what if the Earl, you know, what if the Earl's estate is in the ancient Sudrian capital? You know, not the current Sudrian capital, but the ancient Sudrian capital. And thus he restores the castle there and turns it into a railway museum. You know? And then Connor and Caitlin live there. And they run special rail services. Well, they call it the ancient capital, not the capital. So I don't think Sodor actually has a current capital. I think Sodor's current capital is London. But yeah, it's never been stated what the capital is, but Sodor is a part of the British Empire. Well, not the British Empire. They don't call it that anymore. But it's part of the British government. So it goes under whatever system they work by. We don't know how Sodor fits into British Parliament. Now, if someone would tell me how all of that works properly, and then maybe I could figure out where their capital would be. They might have two capitals, even, because I know it says, I know Audrey said that Sir Handel Brown is the MP for he is the MP for Sodor East, which implies that there's an MP for Sodor West. So if both of them have their own capitals, you know, Sodor very well could have two capitals. Yeah, I don't think Tidmouth is the capital. It's the railway headquarters, and it is the industrial center of the island. Yeah, I don't know, because Sodor doesn't avoid nationalization. They, because they're still, the Northwestern is still the northwestern region of British Railways. It's just that Sir Topham Hatt gets more operational dependence than any other controller on the railway. That region gets more independence. It still operates under BR, but it's like a subset of BR. It's more like a branch. It almost operates like a subsidiary. Well, yeah. Well, in 1997, BR ceases to exist. So, yeah. But what it does avoid is the grouping. And don't get me wrong, there were plenty of lines that avoided the grouping. But Sodor doesn't fall under any of those. It doesn't fall under any of those exceptions. All right, so here's the thing about putting the railway headquarters at the capital. That wasn't the first place they put the headquarters. For one, the end of the railway wasn't even supposed to be Tidmouth. Tidmouth was supposed to be the middle. The line was supposed to go all the way up to Harwick. And the idea was that it would be a main line all the way from Vickerstown to Harwick. And their headquarters would probably have ended up being in Harwick. Why they ended up setting up in Vickerstown, I'm not sure. But part of it was because they didn't, that Barrow was not letting Sodor engines come in, or the LMS was not letting Sodor engines come into Barrow and Furness. But as soon as they did allow engines to come to Barrow and Furness, they moved their headquarters to Tidmouth, because that was the westernmost point on their main line at that point. Yeah, because the line was formed, and it was supposed to be added to the LMS, but the Sudrians fought it. The chairman, Sir Albert Regby, he led the fight. Yeah, in 1918, they had built up to Arlesborough, and they were supposed to go further. And then once they reached Harwick, that whole stretch of track from Tidmouth to Harwick was supposed to become the rest of the main line. But there was no war anymore, so they didn't need to. Now, in my headcanon, and this isn't inspired by anything, this is just my own ideas, is from 1914 to, there we go, from 1914 till 1922, 1923, whenever the grouping takes place, the 3 railways that make up the Northwestern are still independent companies, and the main line from Barrow-in-Furness up to Harwick, eventually Harwick, is a joint line. The government ordered that they work together on this line, so they kind of have to. And obviously we just finished that up. So in my idea, the 3 companies remain independent up until 1922. And with everyone merging, they also decide to merge. Now, my hiccup is finding out why they are allowed to not be merged with the LMS in the first place. Should I just, rewrite history to make it that Sodor was just always left out? Maybe. I mean, maybe I just rewrite it that like there were just such heavy protests on Sodor that in that like the Railways Act of 1923 or whatever, they wrote, Sodor, is doesn't have to, the Sudrian railways don't have to merge if they don't want to. They can, but they don't have to. But, and at this point, isn't Sodor like half considered not part of the UK? They don't consider themselves part of the UK. They don't. You'll never hear a Sudrian call themselves English. They'll call themselves Sudrian, from what I can tell, and that's my interpretation. But I think there's a lot of strong evidence for that. You'd never see a Sudrian call themselves an Englishman. Sudrians are a very rebellious portion of England. The moment that being part of the British Commonwealth is more of a hindrance than it is a benefit, they'd probably declare independence. But so far, I think my default as to how Sodor avoids the grouping is just that the Sudrians riot, basically. Because, for one, the LMS has to be mad that they can't get the Northwestern. Because why else would they have this little petty rivalry with the Northwestern in the early years? It's because they don't recognize the Northwestern as a real railway. They want the Northwestern to be absorbed into the LMS. They're mad that the Northwestern hasn't been grouped into their line. Yeah. But yeah, you'll see a lot in when I finally do make my series, you'll see a lot of things coming out in reference to Sodor's identity. And how they see themselves, how they want to be seen by the world, and what they need to do to retain that sense of self while also surviving in the modern day. But all that said, it is currently 10:30. So let's see if we do this and it. Yeah, my series is going to start around the same same time period. It's probably going to start with Thomas's arrival. We're also like just about every engine is going to be a real engine at some point in their lives, with a few exceptions. Why wasn't Misty Island grouped into the LMS? I believe that, so the way that I'm going to do Misty Island is it's less its own railway and more a logging camp industrial line. So it would be, you know, it doesn't get grouped with the LMS for the same reason. Farquhar Quarry isn't part of the Northwestern Railway. It's not a railway, it's an industry. So we're going to just quick pause this. So my ideas for Misty Island is I'm going to make it a lot more real. Still very, they're still going to feel very redneck. Like Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand are still going to feel like they're hillbillies. However, in a much more realistic manner. There's not going to be any zip line bridges. And yes, there may be some shaky bridges, but not bridges so shaky that they sway back and forth dramatically. Just, you know, old and rickety. So, but yeah, and also like the tunnel, like I'm not sure. I might just completely ixnay the tunnel. I'm still trying to work the tunnel in, but it's not going to be a modern day use. Operationally, the Misty Island logging company will be connected to Brendam via a rail ferry. So Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand will shunt loaded log log flats. Interesting. But yeah, so Misty Island has a they shunt loaded log flats onto a car ferry. It's taken over to Brendam. Salty and Porter unload the logs, and they shunt empty flatbeds and supplies onto the ferry, and it takes them back over to Misty Island. Yeah, my only problem with something like your William Stanier idea is that it interferes with real world history. Not to say that it's a bad idea, not at all. I don't like messing with real world history. It's the reason that I'm making sure every character at one point had a real number. Like right now, as far as my main cast, Emily is the only one I don't have a real number worked out for. But even then, in her case, it really doesn't matter. Because all of her class was scrapped by the time she comes to Sodor. The only one left by the time she comes to Sodor is the one that's preserved. And the one that she will never be. Because again, it interferes with real world history. If Emily is number one when number one is supposed to be preserved in a museum. So It's just that she was one of the scrapped Sterling singles. Her number was lost, and it really doesn't matter unless I do a flashback. Otherwise, the idea was just that she was left to rot in a shed until the Northwestern came around and was like, we need an express engine. Because Emily will be the second express engine, Edward being the first. But even then, Edward's days as an express engine are very short. Emily is the first dedicated express engine. And she arrives before Henry even. She arrives before the grouping. All right. Welcome to St. Earth. Some pickups are needed at Unigate Creameries and Western Growers. You have to pick up the cars, then bring in the next set so the industries can continue. As soon as the passenger train departs, we can start. All junctions are under your control. You are given permission to pass signal 332570 and signal 341096, showing stop during this task. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna wait for this locomotive to come by. We're in jumping, so we're gonna go in. Yeah, this was the engine that we just ran. Different coaches, but same engine. Yes, I think it's different coaches. Pretty sure. Yeah, that was the line that we just went up. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for him to get out of our way. Then we're gonna go. And it looks like we're gonna pick up these cars right here. And then we're gonna get some empties and put them in their place. So yeah. So yeah, I assume, given that the brake van is still attached to this train, that these cars probably came from Penzance down that way. And then the engine came up into the branch and shunted them down. Or left them in the main yard and our engine has just brought them over. But more likely, I think the mainline engine brought them into the branch line yard. Yeah, I still have to wait for this signal. It would probably be useful if I switch the points. I know it said that there were signals that I was allowed to pass. But I'm pretty sure it's still supposed to show a yellow signal down on my dashboard. All the points are set. I'm surprised I haven't crashed in a spectacular fashion yet. Okay. So what I'm currently trying to do is just to get the thing down at the bottom to flip, see if I actually have a yellow signal or not. Okay. I'm good. I'm good to go. It was showing me that I would have a red signal, but this isn't actually red. It's weird. So it would down here it would show as yellow. But yeah, it's not actually. Oh, and you know what? Oh, that's not even my signal. I think. All right, see ya, Eddie. Thanks for joining the stream. All right. We're actually operating a pannier tank this time. Proper duck. Ooh. The pannier tank. The first of the class. All right. Yeah, I do wish some of these were a little bit less hand-holdy, so I could do my own switching. Like, if just like all the icons popped up, like all the couple in place icons, just so you knew that, like, okay, these were supposed to go, you know, these two lots were supposed to be switched out with these lots. I did not know that. Again, I don't know too much American stuff, unfortunately. Yeah, the compass doesn't really bother me. It actually helps sometimes just to know what cardinal direction I'm supposed to be facing. Or not that I'm supposed to be facing, but for reference. It's kind of nice to know that, like, oh, that's north. All right, where do you want me to put these again? On this track. Okay. We'll play your game, Trainz. Yeah, they're not really important for me. I'm not worried about it popping up. But yeah, this last option take too long. I do wish that there was more of a local freight that also did industrial shipping, because that would be cool. Like, you know, assembling this local freight train, then honestly, what would probably be cooler is starting up at the top of the branch line, you know, sorting out a train of recently taking out recently arrived cars and switching them out with the cars there, and then, you know, coming down the branch, coming down here, doing the switching here, you know, again with like, and the same way that they have it set up, you know, the new train is here in the yard from the main line, and you arrive with your train down from the top of the branch, and then you switch out those cars, and then you switch out the cars down here, and then you assemble it all into a train, and maybe even instead of leaving it here in this yard, you move it over to this part of the yard. Or move it over to this track. Because I don't think these cars are going to be going to Penzance. You know, I'm sure they'll be heading towards Churro. Churro, we'll call it. Yeah, city of Churro. Oh, having a lot more locals and stuff like that. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not looking to download more stuff. I'm gonna try and put some more industrial sessions into the routes that I already have, because this route has the potential. It just doesn't utilize it. And you know, that's not necessarily a fault of anyone's. It's not necessarily anyone's fault. That's just me wanting something I don't have. Yeah. This is probably one of my favorite sessions on this route. Because it is just a bit of shunting. I know there's also a freight run that has some stuff switching out. Yeah. I wasn't trying to say that you were or weren't, but you know, I figured I'd comment. I'd mention it anyway. You know. But yeah, I like a lot of the local stuff. It's funny because they kind of stress me out when I go to the model railway clubs, but it's also because I have to deal with dispatch, and I don't like dealing with dispatch. You know, it's kind of a given that in the world of model railways, we kind of model the parts that we like and kind of skip over the parts that we don't. And that's true for me. I do not like dispatch. It is a very necessary part of a railway operation, but I do not like it, which is why I could never work on a real railroad. Which is why that's the one thing I do like about operating sessions in Trainz. I can just design them so that they never need to that I am my own dispatch, so I just have to talk to myself. I recognize the username. Maybe I have. Oh, yes, I think I have. He has a lot of Norfolk and Sudrian, or not Sudrian, Norfolk and Southern, the black ones with the horse logo. He has a lot of those engines on his layout, doesn't he? I actually have seen some of his videos back when I was first getting into the whole operations thing and trying to figure it out. Yes, Norfolk Southern. I thought it was Southern, but like that didn't feel right to me. Southern just it didn't. Just because I see a lot of those engines more up northeast, so it didn't feel right. But yeah, then again, you know, it's not impossible for a railway to run from the northeast down to the south. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It's just my brain is dumb, despite the fact that I full well know that it is perfectly possible for a railroad to run all the way from Maine to Florida. I think we just need to switch out this one last industry yet, and then tack the train onto the brake van, and I think we're done. I'll, switch that a while. We're probably not supposed to do that or something, because I think we're supposed to always keep our points set to the main or whatever. Not that this is really a main, it's a branch line, but still, it still stands. Actually, what probably bugs me most on some sessions, operating wise, is when there's so much like, hey, you're going to come to this industry and you're going to sit and load all your cars and then you're gonna take them. And I know for some ops that's realistic. Like there are some trains that might do that, like coal trains. I know that there are some coal operations where they'll take their empty coal hoppers, they'll wait at the coal mine and fill up all their coal hoppers, and then take those exact coal hoppers back. But there are some Trainz operations that do that with like box cars. It's like, no, with box cars, it's, if anything, you'd bring in empty box cars, you'd pick up the loaded box cars that would be sitting there and leave the empty ones in their place. That's how that would work. But I guess despite the fact that Trainz is a train simulator game. Well, yeah, they do load themselves, but it annoys me that as far as like with the box cars, it's not a realistic move. At least I don't think it is. You know, maybe there are some instances where that happens, but I think in most cases, it's you trade out your empties for your loads. Oh, shoot. I don't think I set the points. No, I did not. For instance, the one instance where it used to bug me, but now it doesn't, is one of the ops on the Kickstarter county route is you take you take fuel tankers up to the coal mine. You take fuel tankers and empty hoppers up to the coal mine, and then you fill the hoppers, and then I think you bring all of it back down to the main yard. I'm an idiot. Yeah, the fossil fuel ones. Yeah. It used to bug me, but then I did hear somewhere that like there are operations where the engine that brings the hoppers up will sit there and wait and load all the hoppers. So that didn't bug me. What did bug me is that I'm sure they don't sit there and wait and unload all the tankers. Like I'm sure they would just sit the tankers there, fill up all their coal hoppers, and then maybe once all the maybe if the tankers were empty by the time they were done filling coal hoppers, maybe then they'd bring them back down. But I know just there are a lot of cases where they expect you to take empty box cars to an industry, have them loaded there, and then take those box cars with you, when realistically it would be that they're loaded box cars just sitting there for you to pick up, um, and yeah, it does instant load, so that's fine. It's not like it's a big hindrance or on time or anything. It's just kind of annoying that it denies realism. Um, because I think the whole trading cars out kind of makes it more interesting, almost. Yeah, I mean, I I don't understand too much as far as uh, locomotive classes and how much they got, but I mean, yeah, I understand it. I understand where that sentiment is coming from. You know, it's like having Gordon do James's work. Like, why would you? um, Now, the one thing that I could is like I kind of characterize that whole route as it's a short line that they just get what they can. Um, Now, it doesn't make sense as to why they would somehow manage to get more higher house horsepower locomotives than lesser. But I mean, I guess that you could work it that it's like they only have like one or two like actual like light locomotives, and they use those for the shunting ops or switching. Um, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. um, I've barely been even I've barely been studying operations in general for a year. So, yeah, I mean, it could feel in character that like they bought what they could off the scrap heap, and they use it where they can. Um, and that would make sense why the whole line is made up of engines from different railroads. Um, they for some reason never gave them their own logo. Um, I'm not sure how realistically that works. But I mean, Northwestern does it. Uh, Now they're also a fictional railway, but uh, the Kickstarter County line is also a fictional railway. So, we're allowed to bend the rules sometimes. We're allowed to bend them, not break them, but bend them. Yeah. Again, I'm no expert, and I will never claim to be. Um, ooh. I never noticed how well these rails reflect. I guess the big thing for Trainz 2019 was that they had like a lighting engine now, wasn't it? Right. And yeah. I guess, and I guess they don't. It's weird that route has a literal loop. I probably won't use that when doing operations. I'll probably just. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to use it for staging or anything because I don't want any connection. The whole point in using the Kickstarter county route is there's no connections beyond it. I don't remember there being a grain elevator on the Kickstarter route. Now, I know the Midwestern branch route has a lot of grain loaders or grain elevators. But I don't. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know any of the. I knew it was modeled off of something called the Highland Valley route, but I figured that was like a route in Trainz. Nothing with real life inspiration. So I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look into it. There's also the fact that in the Kickstarter County 2, like all the names get changed for some reason. Only a few stayed the same. Okay. All right. You mean the real life was for the grain facility. Okay. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down now. All right. Just gotta get these hooked up to their brake van. And then I think we'll be calling it quits for the night. Well, Mr. Pannier, your brother Duck would be proud. Yeah, it's weird. And you also get a lot of the locomotives that, well, I guess I don't really know because all of my Trainz and New Era stuff automatically transferred over into Trainz 2019. So if so I wouldn't know whether TS 2019 came with a lot of the Kickstarter County 1 engines either. I don't know. But yeah, I just like that it'll be a nice starter set for doing operations. So that's what I'm going to be using Kickstarter County for. Okay. Yeah, because I still have the Santa Fe SD45s here on TS19. But, that's because they automatically transferred over from Tane. All right. Now, my little... Oh, there we go. Hey, awesome. All right, then. So I think that will be it for the night. Yeah. All right, then. Thank you to all those who joined this evening. I should be back Wednesday night. That is the plan. And I think then I'll hop onto one of the Kickstarter County routes, and start planning out operations. Because hopefully it should be relatively straightforward, since a lot of the industries kind of are either very vague or they communicate with each other very specifically. So we'll see. But yeah, the hard part will just be deciding which engines to use, which engines and which rolling stock would feel appropriate. But hey, that's what I have all of you lovely people for, to help me get over my decision paralysis. And I just noticed that calendar has not been updated. It is definitely not the 7th. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. See y'all next time.